Shalom. First and foremost, we want to give all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shah, Bahashem, Racha, Kodash. Double honors and salutations to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone. Much respect to you brothers out here pushing this truth with fear and sincerity. And shalom to the hopeful elect, Shabbat Chalakar of GMS Northwest. Come back at you with another video, and this will be quick. Signs of the times. There's a sign pretty much for everything. It's a sign for your health. When your health is declining, certain ailments pop up, and, you got knee pain, back pain, inflammation. You got some type of parasite inside of you, car trouble. You got lights come on in your car when something's wrong. These are signs, and we're getting many signs that we're in the end times. We're at the end of those days. We're at the end of this age. We're at the end of Esau, Edom's rule. His rulership is coming to a knot. It's coming to an end. And there's plenty signs to show us that we're in the end. First and foremost, it's this war talk, wars and rumors of wars, right? We got uproars of the people. We got, people being foolish, prideful. America running around lying, flexing his weapons. It's all a huge psyop, because we know this place is coming to an end. The financial situation, which a lot of that ain't been brought to the forefront. As a matter of fact, start here real quick. The unwinding of empire. U.S. dollar hegemony, BRICS strategy, and the global economic transition. From dominance to diversification, the structural repositioning of global capital in the post-dollar era. So this is the dollar's been weakened overnight, or every day, every night. All of this war is costing billions of dollars. This economy is ready to tank, and a new form of currency will come in, which is the central bank digital currency. And who owns the central banks? The small hats. Why you think they're over there in Iran? They want those resources. They want to put somebody in there that's gonna do what they say. Like they did in '79, or I'm sorry, in '29. But it stopped in '79, 19 that is. I'm going to read a little bit of this. In a media landscape dominated by sensationalism and culture wars, the headlines often miss what truly matters. A structural power shift is underway across the global south, and most visible among the BRICS nations. While the West is entangled in narratives of its expectationalism, the rest of the world is recalibrating. Slovakia. China offloaded $150 billion in U.S. Treasury bonds during the first quarter of 2024 across the BRICS alliance: Brazil, Russia, India, China, South Africa, and now newer members like Iran, Egypt, the UAE, United Arab Emirates. There is a coordinated, deliberate reduction of exposure to the U.S. assets. And this is war, man. War is going to come from this. Because what America, all they do is, if you're not down with them, they're going to come over there, find a way, come to your country, find a way to get you X'd out and set up their puppets in there. This is what America does. The wicked. Babylon the Great. This trend isn't new, but the pace and intent have accelerated. So this is moving faster. What was once a slow rebalancing is now a purposeful flight. The reasons are clear: ballooning U.S. debt, increasing weaponization of the dollar, and geopolitical aventuricism have all made the American financial system less attractive. The same policies that once enforced U.S. dominance are now unraveling it. A recording of the post a recording of the post-war World War II financial architect that kept the U.S. dollar at the center of the global economy has begun. So even in the economics part, these are signs, man. These are signs that this empire is crumbling. A new form of life is coming about. A new management in the earth is going to be ushered in, because you currently have a base man, a base people that's running this country, that's running the show, that has control over the resources, that has control of the minds of the people, that has control of what you watch and what you see and what you eat and what you drink and what you consume, which they have demonic presences over it, demonic entities over it, prayed over it, worshipped over it, did all types of demonic acts to it. So this is just one effect, you know, is gonna continue. Even we won't have to read this, but de-dollarization. What will happen if the dollar lost reserve currency status? Could countries around the world ditch the dollar in 2025? And we see that with BRICS Nation. We read this it says de-dollarization is an effort by a growing number of countries to reduce the role of the U.S. dollar in international trade. Countries like Russia, India, China, Brazil, Malaysia, among others, are seeking to set up trade channels using currencies other than the almighty dollar. Where President Trump's international trade war rampant aggressively, it is the reserve status of the U.S. dollar going to be the next domino to fall. This is what's going on. War talk, economic talk. You got the MOTB talk. These are what signs of the times, and people don't regard this. People just think that, oh, it's just life. That's what the way life is, and it's gonna be here today and gone tomorrow, basically. Matthew 16:1, the Pharisees also with the Sadducees came and tempted, desiring him that he would show them a sign from heaven. And he answered and said unto them, Yahushua speaking, and read, when it is evening, ye say it would be fair weather, for the sky is red. And in the morning it would be foul weather today, for the sky is red and lowering. O ye hypocrites, you can discern the face of the sky, but ye not discern the signs of the times. A wicked and adulterous generation seeketh after a sign, and there shall no sign be given unto it, but the sign of the prophet Jonas. So this wicked and adulterous generations seek after a sign. They want to know A, Y, B, or A, B, C, D, E, F, G, F. No, the sign is in A, and you can know what's going to happen in Z by the sign of A, but you can't determine, you can't look at, you can't see it, you can't see it. We'll go to Isaiah 24. I start at 5. Start at 4. Isaiah 24:4, it says, the earth mourneth and fadeth away, the world languages and fadeth away, the haughty people of the earth do languish. The earth also is defiled under the inhabitants thereof, because they have transgressed the laws, changed the broken an everlasting covenant. That's Esau Edom. Is the earth is defiled under the inhabitants thereof. It says, verse 6, it says, therefore have the curse devoured the earth, and they that dwell therein are desolate. Therefore the inhabitants of the earth are burned, and few men left. Salakia. When that fire comes down, only the elect is going to get beamed up and get out of the way. The new wine mourneth, the vine language, autumn, merry-hearted do sigh. It says, the mirth of tabrets cease, the noise of them that rejoice endeth, the joy of the harp ceases. They shall not drink wine with a strong drink shall be bitter to them that drink it. The city of confusion is broken down, every house is shut up, that no man may come in. There is a cry for wine in the streets. All joy is darkened. The mirth of the land is gone. Yeah, the mirth of the land is gone. You know why? Because Esau Edom has to be put out of the earth. This rulership has to be put out of the earth. That crying for wine in the streets. People are I heard people at my job like, oh, I did a deep dive search about a bunker. People are telling me what's the safest places you can go if nuclear war pops off. There's a cry in the streets. Because that wine, what does wine do? The wine makes you happy. It makes your heart happy. And now that America is tied into this war, the Americans here, the people that don't understand what's going on, they're like, we don't want that type of joy in our heart. We want that new wine. We want that safe and secure wine. We want to be knowing that our borders are safe. We're not gonna be overtaken. Because you got those sleeper cells that's in America right now that's ready to be activated. I'm read that again. There is a cry for wine in the streets. All joy is darkened. The mirth of the land is gone. Yeah, all joy is darkened. Now you got to think about your kids that's growing up. Now you got to think about what's going to happen to them, your parents, your loved ones. When you have this understanding, you have this truth, you're able to put that behind you and say, hey, it's all the Lord's plan. And the city is left desolation, and the gate is smitten with destruction. When dust shall be in the midst of the land among the people, there shall be a shaking of the olive tree, and as the gleaning grapes when the vintage is done. So this confusion, this darkness, what it says in Isaiah the 60th chapter. Arise and shine, the light is come, and the glory of the Lord, Yahweh Shem Shai, is risen upon thee. For behold, the darkness shall cover the earth, and gross darkness the people. But the Lord, Yahweh Shem Shai, shall arise upon thee, and his glory shall be seen upon thee, and the Gentiles shall come to thy light, and the kings of the brightness of thy rising. So darkness covers remember that darkness in Egypt. That's the darkness in these people's mind. They don't understand what the hell is going on. They don't understand that nuclear war is coming. That there's no way to escape it. The Lord's judgment. Ezekiel 21. Salakia. I'm going to start at 8. And again the word of the Lord came unto me, saying, Son of man, prophesy and say, thus say the Lord, Yahweh Shem Yahushua, a sword is sharpened, also furbished. It is sharpened to make a sore slaughter. It is furbished that it may glitter. Should we then make mirth? It commended the rod of my son as every tree. So should we be making mirth when the Lord is sharpening the sword? What conversation should we be in? All holy conversation, not in wickedness. This sword is being sharpened and it's going to glitter, that it may glitter. It's furbished that it may glitter. Should we make mirth? We should be where? Where should we be knowing the destruction is coming? Destruction is imminent. Nuclear war is imminent. There's no way around it. You're going to have to meet your maker. And he coming to destroy. And if you're not part of the elect of the nation of Israel, you're done. Ecclesiastes 7:2. It is better to go to the house of mourning than to go to the house of feasting. For that is the end of all men, and the living will lay it to his heart. Sorrow is better than laughter. Hey, it's better to go to the house of mourning than the house of feasting. In our minds, in our spirits, we don't have that, man, I can't wait for the weekend. I can't wait for this day so I can do this. I can kick back and relax. Now, hey, look, we do like to relax when we're amongst the brothers, when we're together. We do our thing, and we go, we go hang out. We go chill. We go relax. Because this existence is fucking vexing. People was asking me, what do you think about the war that's going on and all of that? What are you going to do? Are you afraid or what, where you going to go? And it's like, I don't give, I'm ready. Whatever the Lord got planned, and hopefully Abaratazah is part of the elect. My house is part of the elect. That we can get up out of here. Because this ain't it. This ain't it. With much wisdom becomes much grief. The more you know, the more you understand, the more you're going to be just turned off from everything. Society, women, sports. Like I said, there's a balance with everything. Don't say here every day you wake up, you just go to work, you got a straight face on your face, straight face. You eat food with a straight face. You come home, you study, you do your thing. You don't look at TV, you just stare at the wall. No, we don't. We don't live a life like that. We understand. We very well understand what the will of the Lord is and what His promise is and what He's going to do. So our mind, our hearts is in mourning because that destruction is coming, and we don't know if we're part of that. That's why we say the hopeful of that. That's why we say Abaratazah. That's why we don't get our minds into where we think that we're the shit. Because at the end of the day, Yahweh must increase and you must decrease. So therefore, we ain't shit, man. We lucky. We're extremely lucky that the Lord tapped us on the shoulder, called us in this thing, and we still got the Spirit on us to preach this gospel. That's going to save our life. And that's every day. The Lord can snap His fingers and it's through. So stay in the house of mourning. Stay in the house of fear. Learn how to fear the Lord every day. Learn how to walk in the Spirit every day. So you don't get caught out here, so you can get out of here, man. I'm reading 2 again. Ecclesiastes 7:2. It is better to go in the house of mourning than in the house of feasting. For it's the end of all men, and the living will lay it to his heart. Sorrow is better than laughter. For the sadness of the countenance, the heart is made better. The heart of the wise is in the house of mourning, but the heart of fools in the house of mirth. Should we make mirth? Knowing the Lord is going to destroy this place, should we make mirth? Should we be planning to be going to, out of the country to go, bruh, I need a week off. This is crazy. I just need a week off to go. No, you're going to miss something. I can't come to class this week, man. I just need to chill. I need to go, ride to the beach. I need to go ride. You lukewarm, man. Oh, I couldn't read all that this week. I just got so much on my plate, man. Your priorities are not up to date, man. I'm just naming out examples, you know, of what brothers could say. You're not right, man. You're not right. You better be in the house of mourning. Because if you're in the house of mourning, your priorities would be set, man. If you was in the house of mourning, you'll want to do your lessons. You'll want to be out there at camp. You'll want to do the sit downs. You'll want to study. Because the Lord is about to destroy this place. He said his sword is furbished. It's sharpened. If I wet my glittering sword, if I sharpen that thing, man. And the Lord's sword is better than any Esau's sword that he got. Because the Lord gave it to him on the left-hand side. Verse 5, it is better to hear the rebuke of the wise than a man to hear the song of fools. Let me go to Psalms, because this back it up. Psalms 90 and 12 in the NLT, it says, teach us to realize the brevity of life, so that we may grow in wisdom. And at KJV it says, so teach us to number our days, that we may apply our heart to wisdom. And I think up here it talks about you only get 70 years and 10 with 80 years. And then you off. We fly away. For soon as cut off and we fly away. So when you're down here, like, well, we're in this age, we've been called, we're babes, coming into this truth. And you're born again. That's why in Ecclesiastes 12, it says, remember now thy creator in thy youth, while the evil days come not, nor the years draw not nigh, when thou shalt say, I have no pleasure in them. Remember the creator in thy youth. Remember the Lord, man. How you came into this thing. Remember what the Lord promised, what he's going to do. Because we had no pleasure in these times, man. Talking about nuclear war, 540 million degrees burning at that temperature. The sword, famine, all of these is. That's why we persuade many to fear the Lord. Paraphrasing. Knowing the terror of the Lord, we persuade many. We're persuading you. We're telling you, get right. Before it's too late, repent. Because we want the blood off our hands. We don't want the blood on our hands. Because if the blood is on our hands, that means we are guilty as well. We're guilty just as you are. Verse 2, while the sun or the light or the moon or the stars be not darkened, nor the clouds return after the rain, in the days when the keeper of the house shall tremble, and the strong man shall bow themselves, and the grinders cease, because there are few, and those that look out the windows be darkened. And the doors shall shut in the streets, and when the sounds of the grinding is low, and he shall rise up at the voice of the bird, and all the daughters of music shall be brought low. All this garbage trash music, all the doors shutting, ain't no work. Scripture even talk about there being no work. They'll be working the kingdom of heaven. Bet you that. You know, remember the creator in our youth. You know, so that's all I want to do. This is signs of the times, man. Stay on point. Stay looking. Stay focused. Stay vigilant. Stay hyper vigilant. And keep your head on the swivel. Lord, when you're edified, you got somebody to shalom.